Hi everybody, and welcome back to this week's vlog with a view. This is getting to be a bit of a regular habit, this recording vlog with a view on a Friday afternoon. And after we're back to one day on, one day off weather at the moment, because it was beautiful on Wednesday, and you might have seen some of the videos that we've already done in Blackpool on Wednesday morning. And yesterday was cold and grey and windy and wet, and today it's lovely again. So I've come out chasing the rays to make this week's vlog for you. So I've got my wellies on, so we're all ready to. Are you ready? I've my wellies on, so we're all ready to take a walk along the edge of the beach. And I'm just wondering which way to go. Shall we go that way or shall we go the other way? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I think we'll go the other way. We'll look at the lovely bright sky today, because it's all of a glinty glimmer and it looks really pretty. So if you've not seen Vlog with a View before, this is our weekly walk and talk and chat. So we go for a walk on a beach. It's not always this beach. It's often somewhere else where I might happen to be on another day. Ooh, I'm falling over. And we talk about something that's topical or something that's related to life at the seaside. And you tell me what you think and I tell you what I think, and we have a chat. So before we get any further, while I'm just walking around this groin, make sure that you've subscribed to the Visit Fylde Coast YouTube channel if you've not already done so, and then you'll get notifications. If you hit that little bell, you'll get notifications for new videos uploaded, and we've got lots of ideas for different things to do during November and during lockdown, and I think we might start with the first one on, well, next week. So you need to subscribe and you need to be getting notifications, and then you'll know what we're up to. Now, if this might go a bit sort of weavy wonky, because I've also got my new glasses on. I've got my new varifocals on. It's the first time I've had them, so I'm walking a bit all over the place. I look a little bit drunk, in fact. So this week, what's it like to live at the coast? Well, we've already done a vlog with a view about how I ended up living here. So I'll pop the link to that in the description below, and you can watch that separately. But while this whole coronavirus thing's been going on this year, there's been lots of people that have been in touch, and I've seen lots of people commenting on Facebook as well about moving to the seaside. They've either done it this year, or they're thinking of doing it, or they want to do it, which you can understand, because where better to be during a national emergency than in a lovely place like this. So I thought it would be useful if we did a piece about moving to the coast, and then you'll know what it's like to live here before you burn your bridges and you end up wondering why you bothered. So the first thing that I need to say is that it feels like being on holiday all the time. People that were born in the Blackpool area are known as sand-grown, the ones that are sort of born and bred here. There's no particular name for the rest of us that end up here by other reasons. But the people that move into the area, most of them that you talk to all say the same thing, that it just feels like being on holiday all the time. You go to the supermarket and it feels like being on holiday. And, you know, most of us, if we're going on a mission to St Anne's, for example, we'll drive along the promenade just because it feels like being on holiday. And that is lovely. And it's, well, 21 years since we bought our house. I was just thinking on my fingers then. It's 21 years since we bought our house, and I still, every time I go out, I enjoy that sensation of being on holiday. I'm going to walk around these people and this groin. It's just lovely. Hello, doggy. It's lovely to drive down the... I am. Spotted by these two ladies. Here she is. Ooh, falling over again. Yeah, and I still, all this time later, get a thrill from driving down the seafront. It's just so nice. And other people that I know that have moved here say the same thing. It doesn't seem to wear off. If you're wondering what these tractors are doing, they're the Fylde Boat Angling Club. So this little boat here is one of theirs, and this little boat is coming back into shore, and the tractor's going to rescue it. Just what that was. Dog. Another one. The tractor's going to rescue it on one of these little trailers and bring it back in. It came up quietly behind me and I didn't hear it. Yes, so that's the first thing. The second really important thing is the weather. And I know I keep going on and on and on about the weather and the wind and it's windy. But honestly, you just can't until you've been here in properly windily weather. You've just got no idea what it's like, because it can be awful. I mean, just look at that. Just look at that for a view. Friday afternoon I've got work to do, and I'm enjoying a stroll on a lovely beach before we start with our afternoon's activities. So, weather. Yes, the weather. Yeah, the weather. What can we say about the weather? Well, on a plus side, certainly on the Fylde Coast, it's flat. It's ideal if you've got any kind of sort of arthritis or joint problems or anything like that, because it's not a hilly place. But the advantage of that is that it makes everything seem such a lot brighter. And I think a lot of that is also to do with the fact as well that you're so close to the sea. And it's just a lot brighter. And in winter, you don't get that, I don't know, how do you describe it? That feeling like you're penned in and everything's coming in on you. You don't get that same sense of oppressive weather that you get if you live in certainly a hilly place. I mean, where I lived was quite a steep place, and in winter it just seemed to go on forever. Amen. Oh goodness me, everywhere you went was a hill in any direction, and it just made everything look so dark and gloomy and depressing. And the other thing as well about the coast is that you get milder winters. It's not as, because of the salt in the air, it's not as frosty, and you don't get that same biting cold harsh frost that you get inland. And we've got plants in our garden. I mean, it's the 6th of November today, and I've got nasturtiums flowering in my back garden. And I've got geraniums that have overwintered for donkey's years. You know, and you can keep plants that you just wouldn't have a cutting else chance of keeping if you were inland. So that's a really good advantage. But the downside of the weather is the wind, because you still can't see them. Out there, in that direction, all of the horizon is full of wind turbines, because it's just endlessly windy. It just never seems to stop. I mean, it's not bad today, but the wind. So forget umbrellas. You need plenty of coats that are waterproof and long enough to cover your legs. Hats, scarves, coats with hoods on, and forget fancy hairstyles as well, because they're just impossible to maintain. But that's sort of the downside of it. I always say it's like the girl with the curl in the middle of its forehead. When it's good, it's very, very good, and when it's bad, it's horrid. But you just adjust to it, like we've all adjusted to coronavirus. You just adjust to the way that the weather makes you behave. And then going back to the thing about being on holiday all the time, the tourists and the holiday thing's quite interesting, because I know in places like Cornwall there's quite a bit of resentment about tourists and holiday makers. Look at these little birds. Can you see them? I'll zoom in. They're lovely. They just look invisible. Yeah, there's quite a bit of resentment about tourists and holidaymakers in places like Cornwall. I know it's a long time since we went. We used to go every year. And they wanted to take your money off you, but they didn't want you cluttering their towns up. But people are not like that around here. I think by and large we enjoy showing our lovely place off. We enjoy that people enjoy it. But of course, because we get such a lot of tourists on the Fylde Coast, you do get busy times of year and times when it's a struggle to kind of go out and do things and do what you want to do. Like for example, bank holidays. It's not, unless you're not bothered about really bad crowds. You know, going out on a bank holiday Monday to Blackpool, for example, it's hard work because it's just so busy. So when you live in a place like this, you just stop where you are and enjoy what you've got on your doorstep. And then of course there's the snooze. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to sit on this growing board here while we finish this vlog off. There's the snooze that the place does in winter, and the way that everything kind of goes quieter, because of course the Fylde Coast doesn't shut in winter. It's not like some seaside towns that just kind of go to sleep and nothing happens. It's still relatively quite busy. It's not bad at all. But the seaside hustle and bustle sort of subsides. And something that people said to us when we first moved here was that people either love it or they hate it. If they love it, they move here and they stop forever. And if they're not keen, you can always tell because they just move straight away. And that's quite true. That I've known quite a few people in the years that we've been here, and they've moved in and they've stopped after 12 months and gone. Me, I think they'll be carrying me off in a box. I certainly won't be. Leaving here anytime soon. So it's like all things. It is very different. I mean, I'm sat here watching the birds, and I think they're turnstones, but I still get them mixed up all this time later. And the birds all look different on the beach. You know, if you've lived inland, you're used to blackbirds and blue tits and that kind of thing, and robins, and you know the birds look totally different. There's a whole new world of things to learn about sea defences and tides and just all kinds of different things, but it's really interesting. It's really interesting to get your head around how the tide works and what a 33-foot tide is and all that kind of stuff. So I can only give you my advice, and that is if you've considered everything and you've considered all your options, and you know that you can afford it, you know that you can realistically do it, and you're not burning all your bridges, move to the seaside and see what you'll think for yourself. So that's this week's vlog with a view, folks. What do you think? Do you think it's something that people should do? Do you think it's something that people shouldn't do? Have you moved to the coast? Have you loved it or have you hated it? And have you got any other points to think about that I've missed? You have a lovely day and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.